Alright, video number 3, part 3. Continuing.
A form of consciousness, and I wanted to know how it was possible. So, I have a couple questions for you, and then I'll do
I don't know, I didn't remember the full sentence there. Form of consciousness, well, whatever. I mean, consciousness comes in variants, you know. There's big consciousness and smaller consciousness. We're on a scale. So, yeah, depending on where you are as a mammal, you probably have more and more awareness depending on how big your brain is and a lot of other factors and what it is focused on, how it's prioritized. Ours happened to do the vocabulary thing, which made it capable of doing all the rest of the intelligence thing. But there's not a huge difference between our brain and an ape brain. It's just how things are prioritized.
the syllogism again, because I don't think people understood me, because I got a couple comments. It just seemed like they didn't understand what I was saying, and perhaps it was because I was very nervous about my first video. That was such a heavy topic. So the first question is,
yeah, I know, but you did this, it's not a complex syllogism. You're basically just explaining determinism, and then you leave it open like somehow that means, somehow it contradicts itself, and it doesn't. So, well, whatever, we'll go over that later.
How do you believe in consciousness? Do you believe it's separate from the body, or it is in the body?
Well, body is just a stupid way to put it anyway. I mean, you do this in the next video where you tell Karina where her foot is, and I think your foot is in the wrong place here. Who's talking about bodies? All right, that's your jargon, that's your bullshit, whatever, your academic bullshit. All right, there's no body-mind duality. That's just a crock of shit. All right, it's a brain. Do I think that consciousness takes place in a neural network, a complex 2,000 years, 2 billion years of evolution brain? Yeah, that's where it happens.
I would like a clear yes or no answer, like yes, it is separate, no, it is not separate. And then if...
Yeah, you have to have the goo. You have to have the 3 pounds of goo, the billions of neurons, or you got no fucking consciousness. All right, and besides that, there's certain organs inside the brain you gotta have to be conscious. But they're the reptilian part. They're all the way down. They're somewhere really deep in the center where consciousness happens, because consciousness is about feeling first. That's what happened first in our evolution, and then the big thinking thing happened on top of it.
If you'd like it, then explain. And then if it is that you do believe that it is inside the body, then I would like...
inside the cranium. It's not inside my anus, it's not inside any other organ in my abdomen. It's inside my fucking brain. It's not my fucking body.
Evidence for that, where it begins. And you did mention in Instagram about the subconscious. At the time I didn't have any answers for that because I was having a bit moment, but then I did a little bit of talking, and then I realized, oh goodness, it's part of the conscious anyways, so if you could just point out what...
Well, no, if it was part of the conscious, we'd call it the conscious, all right? We call it the subconscious because it's behind, it is our brain. The substance of our consciousness is what our subconscious builds. The conscious is the facade of the building, the very smallest molecular level that we see light reflect off of. The subconscious is the steel, the cement, the furnishings, every bit of the substance of the building is the subconscious. Just the thinnest of veneers is the conscious. The conscious is an eyeball watching. It's nothing. It's a disconnected, it has no substance. All it has is what the substance, the perception that is created for it by the real producer, which is the subconscious. It's like the screen on a TV. That's the conscious. All right, the subconscious is the mechanics that make the picture show up, is the movie studio, is all the other stuff that puts that stuff on the screen.
Where the conscious ends and begins, and then therefore stick in the subconscious, maybe we can work with something. And
well, look, there's no point. You want to dissect our brain and find out exactly how consciousness happens, how the idea of awareness happens. It really isn't necessary, I don't think, to have 99.99% of philosophical discussion. We don't have to know the exact mechanics. We know where it came from. We know how it evolved and why it evolved, pretty much. And that's all we need to know. We know what it is. It's a motivation device. It's a control center. It makes us function, and in turn makes us do what the molecule wants, which is survive into the next generation. It's not fucking complicated.
the second question is, how can you account for having any rights if you have a deterministic world? Like I said, you can't...
Yeah, well, again, you keep saying the same shit over and over again. I keep saying the same shit over and over again. Determinism has nothing to do with the fact that we have to evolve. Ideas evolve. All right? The only way they do that is by you making judgments, by you having discussions about rights and all that crap. And I've explained how I don't believe there are such things as rights anyway. There's just responsibilities. And once you fulfill those, once you've done the minimal efficiency equation, like if I was judging automobiles, well, if one of them consumed more gas than the value of what it allowed you to produce in terms of work, well, yeah, you'd throw that car out. It's below the minimum standard. So yeah, we can make judgments, and by doing that weeding, we will, as time passes, as we progress, we will become more sophisticated, more rational, more logical, more capable, more intelligent over time. Because we will glean, we will weed the bullshit out of our memes, our ideas, our notions of how the world works.
Can't have any judgment values, so let's say we did have judgment value in a deterministic world, how can you account for these? Like, how do you account for someone saying you can't hurt somebody?
Well, it's really not hard to do, because it's a perfectly rational statement. Our brain has evolved, all right, to be a reasoning machine. Logic is a deterministic process. You can write it on a piece of paper. You can have little circles, and they go down, and you can do the abstract diagram of it. Our brain does logical functions. The logical function is it knows A, which is there's the difference between harm and help or productivity. These are different things. There's destructive and productive events in the universe, and we want to maximize the productive and minimize the destructive. It's not that complicated, so we do the logic. But it's all deterministic. It's all inevitable. Einstein was inevitable. I'm inevitable. It's all inevitable. Every word, every molecular atom, everything in the universe is on a set course. But it doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with the fact that we will do this evolving.
And the third question is, how can you account for absolute truth? You use absolute truth all the time, and you say it's the simple truth. So how can you account for these?
Well, I don't know. I don't know why I have to account for them. Why do I have to? Why? What? If I say rain is wet, it's because we have words describing, defining wet, and we can say yes, that fits. These are things a thinking machine will do. We are thinking machines. We process information, but it's still deterministic how we will process. But that doesn't change the fact that it is a logic machine. So the fact that I can do logic is not something I need to explain. I do it because I've been evolved to do it. Well, I'm out of time, so we'll move on to part number 4. Amazing. It's only got 1 minute left, so what the hell? It doesn't matter, right? 4 parts, 6 parts, who cares?